Thank you everyone that has attended today. My name is Devin Johnson. I am the 3D printing account manager for the Pacific Northwest here at Hawkridge Systems. And we have a really great spotlight for you. We're shining it on JawsTec today. We have here today Oscar Clausen. He is the CEO and co-founder of JawsTec. It's a rapidly growing additive manufacturing service bureau in American Falls, Idaho. They provide 3D printing manufacturing services supporting industries across automotive, medical, consumer goods, industrial manufacturing, and really many more. So without further ado, I'd love to introduce to you Oscar Clausen, the CEO of JawsTec.
Yeah, no, thanks, Devin, for having us. We really appreciate it. We're looking forward to being together here with you. So yeah, just jumping straight into it. JawsTec really built its relationship and business off of what Hawkridge is doing and the HP systems that you guys offer. So really, that's been the highest growth pattern that we've seen. And being in the service bureau industry, it's kind of a rapidly improving and changing industry. And luckily, our relationship with you guys has really pushed us in that direction.
Great, great. That's good to hear. So tell me about kind of the beginning. Like, how did you guys start? You started what, about 2018, and since then you've had a crazy growth pattern. But where did this all begin?
Yeah. So beginning of 2018, we were looking at the metal machine from desktop metal. So it was kind of a different start. We decided to get into the polymer section. I believe the first HP machine that we got here was that August, and now currently we have 8 printers on site. So in end of 2018 all the way to beginning of 2021, we have gone from 1 HP printer to 8. So grown really fast in a different section than we even initially started. We were looking at metal for the automotive industry, ended up doing some plastic printing for the drone industry, and then kind of grew from there. I really tried to blast into the service bureau industry with new and creative ways of getting the instant quote engine online and fast and quick service. So
Cool. So yeah, one machine to 8 in the span of what, 3 years, right?
Yeah.
So how do you, that's crazy. So how do you attribute that? What do you think really drove that rapid growth from 1 to now 8 machines?
Yeah, the print quality on the new HP industrial machines is really above anything else on the market. When people typically think of 3D printing, they think of a desktop printer on the library or something like that you can purchase and put in your office. But these HP systems aren't that. They're the next level. They take you from 40% of your product development all the way up to 95, nearly 100. We get a lot of people looking for actual production runs because the ease of use and ability to change on the fly to an ever-adjusting variety of issues and problems you get going throughout the industry. It's nice to be able to change up your part and adjust for different requirements needed by either customers or requirements needed in-house and stuff like that. So the HP system provides that opportunity, the quick on the fly, produce 1,000, change it up, produce another 1,000, change it up, ever changing markets really. And that's what the technology provides incredibly useful apparatus for.
That's great. So tell me a little bit more about the industries that you see being a good fit with that HP technology. What do you see really coming through your company?
Yeah, so the robotics industry is a huge market for it, being that you can be so customized, end-of-arm tooling as well as die sets and stuff like that in a unique applications. We see a little bit in packaging industry for sustainable packaging. We can produce the molds for those really cheaply, as well as the automotive industry. We've seen a large involvement in, because every model of a car is different and every manufacturer creates a different line of cars. The mounts, everything from on top for your ski rack to inside your vehicle. We're even doing air intakes inside the actual cars. All
Oh,
the
wow.
big names you think of, we'll produce some parts for them, whether it be on the actual cars themselves or testing and prototyping for the actual manufacturers. But we do produce quite a wide range of uses and technologies in many different industries, as well as medical and prosthetics, and anywhere you can think where it'd be a unique application and ever changing. I think that's where additive shines, really.
Hmm. So are you actually finding a lot of applications that are really for end use? Because a lot of people think of 3D printing, right, as prototyping, not really capable for high strength applications or any really end use applications. Are you seeing a change in that now with the customers that come through JawsTec?
Yeah, definitely. We get quite a few people like, oh, I'm just looking for prototyping. They produce it with us and then find that it actually works better. A good application for something like this was someone that was actually producing a aluminum part for a vacuum that goes on a jackhammer. It was a really cool application. I loved hearing about the story. So they started printing it with the MJF technology. But because the MJF is so much lighter, it meant the end of that vacuum didn't wear out as fast. So they were actually lasting longer than the aluminum ones. So in that application, he never even realized that printing the actual piece reduces his cost as well as makes his part better. So it went from a $20,000 or something like that all the way down to a $2,000 application, and
Wow.
really provided a phenomenal different way of looking at it, especially for him in an application where he assumed metal was the only option because it's going to wear out
Hmm.
too quick. And the density and the strength, quality, as well as how light it can be, really provides this HP technology just performs above and beyond what a lot of people expect.
That's very cool. I'm really kind of curious to hear more about some other stories. I don't know how much you can really tell us about what's going through JawsTec, because I know that you work with some pretty high end clientele. But is there anything off the top of your head that you have found really fascinating that you've been able to help out with and bring to life?
Yeah, so we actually worked with a drone company that was doing agricultural work, and really a unique design, uh, 11 unique parts to condense and make the drone as small as possible. And the application on this side was reducing weight. That's
Hmm.
really what they mainly wanted to focus on. So they were originally doing it all with carbon fiber. They ended up printing everything with us and dropped the weight by almost 50%.
Oh,
So
wow.
now their time increased. They were able to do a full 160 acres with one battery. It was quite phenomenal actually seeing that this application worked so well in that industry. Another application would be the recreational use for side-by-sides and stuff like that. We see quite a few people in that market.
Hmm.
It's always in the best interest to keep improving and looking the best here and there. So mounts and other options that are always changing with every new model is quite a big hit, as well as we even have customer printing air intakes. So it's a plenum that goes inside the vehicle and it pushes all the air that goes to your turbo. So it is a phenomenal amount of pressure it can hold, and complete in end of use, they've seen very good success in that industry.
Cool, cool. So would you say that then you've been helping out with them with reducing the time to market with their products? Are you able to do a really quick turnaround for them so that they can innovate faster?
Yeah, definitely. So on orders like that, where one piece will be anywhere between $100 to $200 or something like that, we can get it to them in 4 days. So a
Oh, wow.
quick turnaround is key on those industries. As you increase in quantity, we set up production lead times and everything for that customer. So really changes as depending on the needs of the customer, but anywhere from 4 to 10 days on larger orders as well, and then production schedules and stuff based on how many you can fit in a build and stuff. And we'll work with companies to try to optimize their parts for the HPE build platform. We want to make sure we can fit as many in there as possible, as well as reduce their cost. So if we
Hmm.
work together in that sense, we can really make a big difference for both uh, us providing the parts as well as the customer coming to us and looking for the best one, as well as orientation and providing the best and highest quality part possible.
Great, great. So I'm kind of curious what your perspective is, as you're seeing more customers come through JawsTec. What do you think is contributing to such kind of a rise in additive manufacturing today, and where you kind of see this going? Because I think, I've read reports where I think we're around $13 billion as a global industry, and what 2020 it's projected to, I think, to get to around 55 billion in the next 5 to 7 years. From your
Yeah.
perspective as a service bureau, what do you think is driving that?
I believe it's the technology increases in the past couple of years. Really, there wasn't a good service bureau or model out there because the technology wasn't good enough, to be honest.
Hmm.
The top people in the industry could make parts that were decent, but not at an effective cost for the most part. Now with the HP technology, you've been able to reduce cost on the service provider. So now on our quote engine, the minimum price you can purchase a part for is $5. So instead of having to spend $200 and a 10-day lead time just for a small little part, it's now made it so it's a lot quicker. You can order 200 and still get your 4-day lead time. Because they're all printed in the same bucket, same build, it all happens in the same area. So that reduction of cost is huge, especially for at least our side and being able to create a business out of that. And now that we have the 8 machines here, we can provide that instant quote engine online. So you just drag and drop an STL file in there, you get a quote back immediately. So it really changes the game on that side, that you no longer have to wait a week for a quote or be in constant communication with someone saying, hey, when are you going to get my quote? When can I get the service I deserve? We're able to provide that. All goes through our order processing and should ship out the door within that 4 days, if not sooner, with like our high priority ordering. If you ordered before 2 in the afternoon, you should be able to get it in 2 days. So
Wow.
something like that is impossible for
Yeah.
regular manufacturers, especially at the scale that we're running at now.
Sure. Sure. Wow. So, with 8 machines that you're running, and you're growing day by day, the question that always comes up a lot of times is, how do you stay running, right? How do you stay productive? How do you keep machines online, right? How have you been supported in that growth and keeping at a high level of operation?
Yeah, so the help that Hawkridge has provided has been incredible. Being able to have someone that we can lean on and ask questions to. We've been properly trained on the machines, but that being said, we're not going around and checking every single problem that could
Hmm.
provide. So the maintenance on the machine is obviously really important, making sure we have the proper procedures in place, as well as weekly and monthly cleans to ensure the printer runs properly. Really, the cleaner these machines are kept, the better they'll run. So we really
Hmm.
want to make sure that is key for all the machines here. The support Hawkridge provides is in setting up as well as bouncing ideas off of. We've seen a couple errors that even HP scratches their head. We're able to contact Hawkridge and say, hey, should we try this? What do you think of this? And they're always happy to help and really keep us online. And that's the biggest thing. Machine uptime is fairly key in this industry, as many
Yeah.
people in the manufacturing industry know. So it's really a focus on our side to make sure we keep our machines moving and they're printing parts and not just sitting idle. So.
Yeah, yeah. So it kind of brings me to also thought, like, as you're growing, you have so many machines, you're pumping out all these parts constantly, getting new customers uh, flowing in. How is the workflow of running this type of a setup? how do you actually go about managing it, and how do you really go about providing that high level quality of service?
Yeah, so it really begins with the quote engine. The quote engine pulls in your part, all the options that you provided, whether you want it vapor smooth, tumbled, as well as dyed, a couple different colors. We've got quite a large post-processing thing, so there's quite a bit to keep track of, whether it's in dimension or the AMT processes. Once it comes into our site, it all goes through your regular order system that a typical website would do. We bring it into our tracking software where it will be given a QR code. That packing slip will then follow it from placed into the build to the printer, all the way to unpacking and sandblasting. From there, it will be quality controlled while it's sorted. From that location, it disperses into its needed post-processing. Like I'd mentioned, the vapor smoothing, we offer tumbling with a plastic media, as well as a plastic bead smoothing shot peen, as well as a variety of dyes with a dimension solution in that side. From there, it would bounce around to those locations and then move on to shipping, where it will be introduced to its final QC and then packaged and shipped, and you will be given an email as soon as that order has been completed. So it really, the software side, we've built everything in-house, from the quote engine to the tracking software, and that's really provided a leg up on other people in this industry. Really, the only people that have that kind of technology are those in the driver's seat of the service bureau industry that have
Sure.
nearly 10 to 20% of the market already. We're the one coming for them. We plan on taking it by storm. So, and that is really a part of it. You have to have the proper processes in place. HP was just out here giving us our professional service training, which is
Great.
basically optimization for making sure we have the proper quality. And for the most part, we have everything in place, and they were just able to fine tune and readjust a couple things. And we're going to see a wide increase of productivity, as well as an increase of business with these machines on site.
Yeah, that's great to hear. I'm loving to see your trajectory and your process, and love to see the growth that you guys have been going through, and really kind of curious what's next. What's on the horizon for you guys. You've been growing exponentially right now. You have really no signs of stopping. So what's
Yep.
on the horizon for you guys? What do you really envision for the future for JawsTec?
Well, we're starting to get to the point where we're even considering expanding the building here at our place. 8 machines is starting to tap out the limit in a couple of rooms. So we just need to make sure that we're able to keep growing with the industry. We've got a couple of good partners that are looking to grow with us. So as their need increases, they're on board to try to help us grow as much as possible as well. So together, we're hoping to provide the best opportunity for them to grow, and we'll be right along there with them. So really, it's keeping those relationships up, as well as bringing in more business. And what we want to do is become the place in the industry where you go for additive manufacturing, because we can produce it the best. We do believe we have some of the best customer service, and that's honestly a high selling point for this industry. It does seem like some don't follow through on the service side. All these machines are quite similar. So when you purchase an MJF part, it should be fairly similar in all locations. But where we excel is either the post-processing or customer service. We expect the person to have a usable part, and we want to make sure that works for them. So really, our growth is infinite.
Great, great. Yeah, it's great to see more and more people considering additive manufacturing, and starting to fuel the growth of companies like JawsTec. And with that in mind, for people that are kind of on the fence, right? Even though 3D printing has been around for quite some time, we're seeing a major shift now of mass adaptation. We're seeing a shift in traditional manufacturing to now go into the additive direction. For those people that are considering moving to additive, what would you have to say in terms of a piece of advice in moving that direction?
Yeah, well, the ability to change up design and stuff is huge. Not keeping an inventory is quite a nice cost-effective way as well. So in the injection molding scene, you've got your typical molds you have to produce for the $10,000 to $50,000, depending on where you're getting it done. You don't have those upfront costs. So starting a new project or getting into a new area really becomes a lot easier. So even if you're a smaller person just trying to start a business out of your garage, you can produce the parts just as well as the big guy that has been in the industry for 20 years. You've got an idea that you believe can beat them, you have that capability now, and you can really go after them and grow as you need. You don't have to buy $10,000, $20,000 worth of supplies to even get started. You can jump in the ring at $500, full swinging, and just go after them. So along with that side, in the industries that are ever changing and you constantly having to adapt, additive is the perfect opportunity for that. Well, because we're American based, we don't have to ship across the seas, get stuck in ports and stuff like that. That's a big thing that the supply chain has really suffered from lately. And additive has been the way that people have been able to step up and produce stuff that really wasn't possible before. So.
Yeah, that's exciting. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to where this industry is going. Super excited to see how JawsTec is going to grow in supporting the industry. You guys are becoming a major player on the field, and it's going to be really great to see your journey. So, Oscar, thank you for taking the time to talk with us today. So, thank you so much.